I want to, before Nane Nane, I want to pass this message to every other person so that we understand something, we understand things that we are supposed to claim when we are going on the streets and fighting against bad governance, unaccountable leaders, lack of transparency in leadership, and lack of accountability, misuse of public resources, and even the killing. You see, the Gen Zs are being killed. People are being abducted. I heard a police say, like those who are missing right now, they are detained in jail, and others are rotting in the committee and industrial area because they are not students. So those who are not students are being abducted and detained in jail, committee, and others are even killed. That's what he said. So he said, he gave this caution. He said, if you are not a student, don't go to the streets. My question I want to pose to everybody who is watching from my channel: is it only students who are advocating for transparency, who are advocating for change in this nation? Or is it a mandate of every Kenyan citizen to stand and say we don't want this? So those ones who are not students are being abducted and detained in jail and even killed. You see, it's not fair. We are talking about life here. Life. You know, this is a life. The Constitution gives protection of life. You know, the Constitution talks about life must be protected, and the police unit and service are trained to protect the lives of the citizens of a particular country. As long as we're not wild, as long as I'm not thieving, as long as I'm not fighting for any, as long as I am peacefully demonstrating I need protection from the police, not killing from the police, not abduction from the police. You see, I all along understood that the police are good people, and I don't want to lose that trust. But I want to say that those police, we can call them rogue police, those police who are not human, have lost humanity, and they think they're supernatural. A reminder to you is that some people have been there and they have left, they have died, or they have retired. You see, they can give you the story. They can give you the story. You got to be human somehow. You got to be really human. You need to understand what you're fighting against. And we don't need to fight with the police. We just need to address the truth and say, you know what? These things are not working. The president is not really serving the interest of the people. Therefore, we don't need to fight the president. What we need to do is, president, please lift yourself from the office, and your people get out, and let us try to create a government that is going to serve the interest of the people. You can see in the UK, people are being, killed. There's a fight. There's invasion of immigrants, residents, and their properties have been lost. And you see, so while waiting for that moment for properties to be lost and vandalization, looting to happen for the president to get the hell out of the office. You see, it's so honorable to me when I had the Venezuela Maduro. Yeah, he honorably said, you know what, I can feel the pressure, and what I can do is to just leave the office in peace. But before I get out of the office, I want to be in the office a little bit as my successor is being prepared to get to the office. Very honorable. Yeah, it feels, it's like I failed the nation. It's like there's somewhere my senses were lost. You see, that's a good realization. Bangladesh, you had the prime minister, is it Sheikh Hasina, something like that. He resigned and fled to India. Yeah. You see, the question, you can feel the pressure from Nigeria. Nigerians are saying the president is not competent to lead these people. The people are too smart than the president. The Gen Zs of Nigeria, Uganda, and Kenya can have outsmarted the politicians. The politicians are using the traditional way of governance. When we have understood today, there's a different way that we need to understand how things are moving, and a different way of governance. So people are outsmarting the leaders that we have in parliament today, in State House today, are incompetent to lead competent citizens. That's very wrong. You see that? You see, US, once upon a time it was superpower, but you can see the sniper almost killed Trump. What is going on in the world? Okay, so just to quench the thirsty of what the government looks like in Kenya, I want to exhaust something here. There was voting that was taking place in Parliament. The nominated CSS who went through the vetting in Parliament. As I learned something, and this is something I learned, I have to share with you because you're my people. I've come to realize the only investors that we have in Kenya are politicians. The only millionaires that we have in Kenya are supposed to be politicians. The people who are supposed to have huge tracts of land are supposed to be politicians. And this is what I learned. I want to take you through the worthiness of every of the 20 CSS that were nominated for vetting in Parliament. And one of them is Kindiki, who is worthy 694 million. He's a millionaire. You see, Deborah Barasa, 455, she's a millionaire. Alice Wahome, 327 million. So Ipan Tuya, 443 million. Julius Ogamba, 790 million. And we have Andrew Muhia, 214 million. We have Aden Duale, 980 million. Eric Muga, that 1 million. Davis Chirchir, 509 million. Margaret Ndungu, 95 million. John Impadi, 38 million. Rebecca Miano, 444. Pio Andai, 530. Salim Vuria, 158. Kipchumba Murkomen, 620. Hassan Joho is a billionaire, 2.3. We have Alfred Mutua, 462 weekly for Paranya with 600. Justin Muturi with 801. And we have Stella Soy Langat who is 70 million. The millionaires that we have in Kenya are politicians. Most people have huge tracts of land, and those who are controlling public resources, they're them. When you start auditing one by, how did you acquire this one? How did you? They don't want you to go deeper. They politicize, and make sure that the exercise does not go through to understand how they acquire this kind of millions in their pockets. So, how can a president create an opportunity for the small business people to be millionaires, to grow and be the millionaires, and also own lands, support other people in the same country? Because the Kenyan Gen Z, the competent Kenyan Gen Z and the millennials and even X and even generation zote, one thing we understand, we know that we have the capacity to create a business, to create jobs in this country. What makes it so hard for us to create this business? Number one, poor governance. Where does poor governance get in? We have oil in Turkana, but you can see oil in Kenya is still expensive. The question is why? Then people went to Turkana, bought land. Politicians, they bought land and then personalized it, and then they said no more mining, no more excavating oil from this land. Buying the land, occupying the land, and they keep quiet. They go to campaigns, waiting for the resources to appreciate. Or maybe they're the ones scooping the oil and selling to Kenyans in an expensive prices. You see? And who are these people who go to, who went to Turkana to excavate? Not Kenyans. We have gold, we have resources in Kenya, which they are only scooped and taken raw to those countries who call themselves developed. They process, they make it, they refine it, and they come to sell to Kenya in form of a watch and in form of other things. Let's say Rongo, we have gold that is being mined there. When you go to those places, the investors, the residents of that place are poor. Because why? They are mining. And when they mine, they just, they wash, they do what? They don't know how to refine it and make it even, valuable for them to sell. So they just mine, and there's somewhere where they sell cheap, and then the cheap sell to those ones who can refine it, and then the investors, the people who are mining in those areas go there. They are poor. The buyers of gold, they buy from them in a very cheap price. So why can't we create an industry in Kenya that manufactures, that refines, that makes this gold more valuable for us to sell and make money? Why? Oil is there. Why can't we have a company in Kenya that refines this oil and sells it to Kenyans? Why? Of course, when you say we don't have knowledge, but we can go learn knowledge. It is called mutual learning. We go learn after learning and understand and come apply. That is it. And that we can create opportunity in this country. Not other countries. We can in this country. But now when you speak, there's abduction, there's killing, the government even misuse resources. You had recently the president wanted, or maybe they have signed, they want a dummy to take control over the Kenyan airports. And who are the people who are going to be employed in those airports? You don't know. You see, most probably they will not be Kenyans. You see, so some people are going to come and enjoy the resources of Kenya, whereas Kenyans are wallowing and struggling. It's not fair. You see that? So I want the Nigerian president, the Ugandan president, the Congolese president, the Kenyan president, you honorably have to resign from the office and let other people who are accountable, who knows what the Kenyans need, what the country's men need, to go and sit in those offices and direct this Africa to the best position that is going to support the very people that are living in that country. Don't think that some other countries are superpowers than ours. When you hear the president going around, like President Ruto, I saw him, where was he? In Embu or somewhere, those naive places, remote places. You can hear he's talking about roads, he's talking about hospitals, schools, very common things at ICT. How many people are going to get jobs from ICT? How many people? All of us, can we get jobs from ICT, young people? We just need to think. We just need to get out of these lies and think, will ICT employ all these people? We better think twice. What about our land? So all youths go to ICT. What about our land? Who is studying agriculture? Who is studying agro-business? Who is going to make this land more, who is going to add value to our land? Who is going to empower women? Who is going to empower farmers, young farmers? The new methods of farming to increase the productivity of food in our country. Who is going to talk about that? So that is where the problem is, and that is we are being brainwashed by the statements the politicians are using. And therefore we need to be very careful. And the Gen Z, listen, we have to move forward with brave. Just like what Venezuelans did, just like what Bangladeshis did, just like what Nigerians are doing. Remember, we were the one who started this movement, and it is now taking all over the world. You see, people are starting to realize that the presidents, the leaders are unaccountable. They are misusing our resources, and they're bankrupting our nation. And now people are waking up, and we are the one who started it. So let us not fail ourselves. Because as you see, the country is almost going back to where it was. Where it was, I mean, in corruption, it is going to normalize. In leaders who are unaccountable, incompetent, everything is going to normalize, because the president is out telling people how sweet things are going to be if they retain him in power. We are not interested in your promises. What we are interested is just get the hell out. Let us figure things out when you are out. Let us make things work when you are out. I think we are going to be safe when you are going to be out. And you know what? It is possible. It can be done. I have a belief that yeah, it can be done. Do the honorable thing by, people don't need to die for you to surrender. You just need to go out. Peacefully, without force, without fight. Just go out peacefully. Evil too. That's what we need. So Gen Z, nane. Police, we have no problem with you. We know that you feel the pressure too. So we all have to coincide and fight one enemy: bad governance, lack of transparency in government, corruption in government, human trafficking the government are conducting, misuse of resources. We have to fight that person who is corrupting all these things, that is making this country look poor.